Hello, I'm Bernie Norcott Mahany. I work at the Kansas City Public Library and also at Johnson County Community College. And through the month of April, I read poems aloud. I've been doing this for a couple of years now. And this year, I thought I would focus primarily on poems of World War I. Today's poem is a poem by Thomas Hardy. Thomas Hardy lived from 1840 through the 1920s through 1928. Hardy was primarily known as a novelist. He wrote several famous novels, Test of the D'Urbervilles, Mayor of Casterbridge are a couple of examples. He also wrote poetry, although he really started publishing the poetry at the end of the 19th century, so like in the late 1890s. So his poetry is much later. He wrote several war poems. He himself was not in war, because by the time the Boer War, he was already quite a bit older, and he was too old to participate in World War I. But he did write poems about both of those wars. And today's poem is a poem called Channel Firing, and this is from has the date April 1914. Channel Firing. That night, your great guns, unawares, shook all our coffins as we lay, and broke the chancel window squares. We thought it was the judgment day, and sat upright, while drearisome arose the howl of wakened hounds. The mouse let fall the altar crumb, the worms drew back into the mounds. The glebe cow drooled, till God called, "No, it's gunnery practice out at sea. Just as before you went below, the world is as it used to be. All nations striving strong to make red war yet redder. Mad as hatters, they do no more for Christ's sake than you who are helpless in such matters. That this is not the judgment hour, for some of them's a blessed thing, for if it were, they'd have to scour hell's floor for so much threatening. Ha ha, it will be warmer when I blow the trumpet, if indeed I ever do, for you are men, and rest eternal sorely need." So down we lay again. "I wonder, will the world ever saner be," said one, "than when he sent us under in our indifferent century?" And many a skeleton shook his head. "Instead of preaching 40 year, my neighbor Parson Thirdly said, I wish I had stuck to pipes and beer." Again the guns disturbed the hour, roaring their readiness to avenge, as far inland as Stourton Tower and Camelot and starlit Stonehenge. So that was Channel Firing, which has the date April 1914. So it's actually before the start of the war, but clearly the war, the drumbeat is already starting. That gets Europe in the mood for war. And then, of course, when Archduke Franz Ferdinand is killed later in 1914, that then triggers World War I. So see you again tomorrow.